Millionaire sees homeless boy feeding lost dog. His reaction is surprising. Michael Anderson stopped his imported car in the middle of a busy avenue in New York City when he saw that scene. The barefoot boy, who couldn't have been more than 12 years old, was sharing his only meal with a skinny, dirty mutt. His small hands trembled as he placed half the food into an improvised bowl. Michael felt his chest tighten in a way he hadn't felt in decades, not since that terrible day. That changed his life forever. The 40-year-old businessman, owner of one of the largest construction companies in the country, stepped out of the car, ignoring the angry honks from drivers behind him. His $20,000 Italian suit contrasted absurdly with the reality of that dirty downtown sidewalk. He crouched near the boy, who immediately shrank back, shielding the dog with his frail body. "Don't be afraid," Michael said, his voice rougher than he intended. "I just want to help." The boy stared at him with dark, distrustful eyes, hugging the animal even tighter as it kept eating, oblivious to the tension. That's when Michael noticed something that made his world stop: a small, crescent-shaped scar on the boy's chin, exactly like the one his younger brother had. The same brother who had disappeared 25 years ago. "What's your name?" Michael asked, fighting to keep his voice steady. "Tommy," and the boy answered after a long silence. "And this is Rusty." The common name meant nothing, but that scar... Michael needed to know more. He pulled out his wallet, and the boy immediately stood up, ready to run. "Easy, I'm not calling anyone. I just want to buy food for you and your friend." Tommy hesitated, looking at the dog, who had finished his portion and was now licking the empty bowl. Hunger won over fear. "We don't need charity," the boy said with a dignity that surprised Michael. "I work. I watch cars over there, on the corner." "It's not charity, it's..." Michael searched for the right words. "It's an advance payment. I need someone to take care of some dogs at my place." It was a lie, of course. Michael didn't have any pets. He barely had time to take care of himself, let alone animals. But something about that boy kept him from just walking away. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now, continuing, Tommy studied him with eyes far too old for a child. Michael could see the internal battle, need fighting against the distrust that life on the streets had taught him. "How many dogs, he finally asked. "3, Michael made up. "Big ones. They need someone with experience." The boy petted Rusty, who was now sniffing the businessman's expensive shoes. "I know how to take care of dogs. I've been looking after Rusty since he was a puppy. Found him in a cardboard box 2 years ago." 2 years. The same amount of time Tommy had said he'd been living on the streets. The math didn't add up with how old he looked, but Michael knew. Life on the streets aged kids fast. "Where do you sleep?" Michael asked, already imagining the answer. "Around..." Tommy shrugged. "There's an overpass nearby that's safe. Ms. Rose from the bar lets us stay there when it doesn't rain too much." "Us." Michael caught the plural. "You're not alone." Tommy bit his lip, clearly regretting saying too much. "There. Our other boys, we help each other." Michael took a card from his pocket and handed it to the boy. "That's my address. Come by tomorrow morning and we'll talk about the job." Tommy took the card carefully, as if it was something precious. His eyes widened as he read the Upper East Side address. "You really live in this fancy place?" "I do." "You can call me Michael." "Michael Anderson." Tommy read the full name on the card. "Anderson. I've heard that name before." Michael's heart raced. "Where did you hear it?" The boy scratched his head, making a concentrated face. "I don't remember exactly. I think Ms. Rose mentioned it once. She knows everyone in the neighborhood." Michael made a mental note to visit this Ms. Rose. He took $50 from his wallet and handed it to Tommy. "For food until tomorrow. For you and Rusty." "That's too much," Tommy said, stepping back. "It's an advance for the work," Michael insisted. "And buy some shoes too. You can't work barefoot." Tommy looked at his own dirty, calloused feet, then at the money. Need once again won over pride. "Thank you," he murmured, tucking the bills into the pocket of his worn-out denim jacket. "I'll be there tomorrow." Michael returned to his car feeling strange. It wasn't just the physical resemblance or the scar. It was something deeper, a connection he couldn't explain. He drove straight to the office, but couldn't focus on anything. The image of the boy sharing his food with. The dog wouldn't leave his mind. His secretary, Margaret, entered the room after a discreet knock. "Mr. Anderson, you have a meeting with the Japanese investors in half an hour." "Cancel it," he said without taking his eyes off the window. "Cancel? But sir, this project—" "Cancel everything today, Margaret. Something more important came up." The 50-year-old woman, who had worked with him for over a decade, looked at him worriedly. "Are you all right? Did something happen?" Michael turned to face her. Margaret was more than a secretary. She was almost like a mother to him. Maybe he could trust her. "Do you remember my brother, Thomas?" The sudden change of topic caught her off guard. "Of course I do. You had his photo on your desk when I first started here. That beautiful boy who disappeared as a child. Today I saw a boy on the street. He's the same age Thomas would be now, and he has the same scar on his chin." Margaret's eyes widened. "Sir, are you sure after all this time?" "I'm not sure of anything," Michael admitted, "but I need to find out. Do you still have contact with that private investigator?" "Garcia? Yes, I do. Should I call him?" "Please. And Margaret? This stays between us for now." She nodded and left the room. Michael looked out the window again, watching the city below. New York City was enormous, with millions of people. What were the odds that after 25 years he'd find his brother by chance on some random street corner? His phone rang. It was Jennifer, his wife. "Hey, love," he answered, trying to sound normal. "Michael, you forgot again, didn't you?" Her voice sounded tired. "Forgot what?" "Dinner with my parents. I scheduled it a month ago, Michael. A month." He closed his eyes. He had completely forgotten. "Jennifer, I'm sorry. Something important came up and—" "Something always comes up," she interrupted. "Work is always more important than your family." "It's not work this time." "Oh, really? Then what could be so important?" Michael hesitated. He didn't want to raise hopes until he was sure. "I can't explain right now, but I promise I'll tell you everything later." "Always the same thing," Jennifer sighed. "I'll go alone." Then, again. "Jennifer." "No, Michael. I'm tired. Tired of always being second choice. Tired of sleeping alone because you spend nights at the office. Tired of explaining to Emily why her father is never around." Emily. His 8-year-old daughter. Michael felt the familiar guilt tighten his chest. "I'll make it up to you, I promise." "You always promise." Her voice was strained now. "You know, sometimes I wonder if we even have a marriage or if I'm just the woman who lives in your house." "Jennifer, please, I have to go. I'll be late." The silence after the call ended was deafening. Michael knew Jennifer was right. Over the past few years, he had increasingly buried himself in work, running from ghosts that refused to stop haunting him. Thomas's disappearance had destroyed his family. His parents never got over the loss. His mother fell into a deep depression, and his father turned to drinking. Both left this world too soon, leaving Michael alone with his guilt. Because it was his fault. He was the older brother. He should have taken better care of Thomas, but on that fateful day 25 years ago, he chose to play soccer with his friends instead of bringing his little brother along. Thomas went out alone to buy trading cards and never came back. Margaret knocked on the door again. "Mr. Garcia can see you now, sir. He says it's urgent." "Send him in." Joseph Garcia was a short, stocky man with a stern face but an undeniable skill for his work. Michael had hired him a few times for business matters. "Mr. Anderson," Garcia greeted, taking the offered seat. "Margaret gave me an overview of the case. You want me to investigate a street kid?" "Yes. His name is Tommy, looks about 12, has a crescent-shaped scar on his chin. He lives downtown near Ms. Rose's bar. He has a dog named Rusty." Garcia jotted everything down in a small notebook. "You think this boy could be your missing brother?" "I don't know, but the resemblance is uncanny, and the scar—" "I understand. I'll start right away. I'll need photos of your brother. His birth certificate, any documents you have. Margaret will arrange everything. And Mr. Anderson?" Garcia looked at him seriously. "You need to be prepared for the possibility that it's not him. 25 years is a long time. The odds are slim. I know, Michael replied, though his heart refused to accept it. But I need to be sure. After Garcia left, Michael tried to focus on work, but it was impossible. He decided to go home early, something he hadn't done in months. Maybe he could at least have dinner with Emily before she went to bed. The mansion on the Upper East Side felt even larger and emptier when he arrived. Jennifer really had left. Emily was in the TV room with the nanny. "Daddy!" She ran to hug him as soon as she saw him. "You're home early." He lifted her into his arms, breathing in the strawberry shampoo scent of her hair. "Hi, Princess. Where's Mommy?" "She went to have dinner with Grandma and Grandpa. She was mad because you didn't come." The child's honesty stung. "And you, did you eat yet?" "Not yet. Betty was going to make pasta." "How about we order pizza, just the two of us?" Emily's eyes lit up. "Really? Mommy doesn't let us have pizza on weekdays. It'll be our secret." While they waited for the pizza, Michael watched his daughter draw. She had Jennifer's chestnut hair, but her eyes were his, eyes that now painfully reminded him of Thomas's. "Daddy, why do you look so sad?" Emily asked suddenly, not lifting her gaze from the paper. "I'm not sad, sweetheart." "Yes, you are. Mommy's been sad, too. Are you going to get divorced like Madison's parents?" Michael's throat tightened. "How do you explain to an 8-year-old that you carry ghosts you can't shake?" "No, honey. Daddy and Mommy love each other very much. Then why are you never together?" He had no answer for that. Luckily, the pizza arrived, diverting Emily's attention. They ate while watching cartoons, something Michael hadn't done in so long he couldn't remember the last time. When Jennifer came home close to 11, Emily was already asleep. Michael waited for her in the living room, 2 glasses of wine on the coffee table. "You're home," she said, surprise clear in her voice. "We need to talk." Jennifer slipped off her heels and sat on the couch, keeping her distance. "About what?" "About how you abandoned me again today." "About everything about us." "About what happened today." He told Jennifer about Tommy, about the resemblance to Thomas, about the scar. Jennifer listened quietly, sipping her wine. "Michael," she said when he finished, "you can't do this again." "Do what?" "Get your hopes up. Like with that boy from Pennsylvania 3 years ago, or the young man from Miami 5 years ago. Every time you think you've found Thomas, you dive in head first and then fall apart when you realize it's not him. This time is different." "It's always different." She touched his face gently. "My love, I know how much it hurts. I know you blame yourself. But Thomas has been gone for 25 years. The chances he's alive are—" "Don't say that." Michael pulled away. "I can't just give up on him." "And you can't live for a ghost," Jennifer raised her voice. "You have a living daughter here now, who needs her father. You have a wife who loves you but is tired of competing with a memory. It's not a competition, isn't it? Then why do you spend more time searching for Thomas than being present in Emily's life?" The accusation stung because it was true. Michael downed his wine in one gulp. "If it were Emily," he said quietly, "if our daughter disappeared, would you stop looking?" Jennifer began to cry. "That's not a fair comparison." "But it's the truth. Thomas is my brother. I was responsible for him. You were 15, Michael. You were a child yourself, old enough to have taken better care of him." Jennifer stood up, wiping her tears. "I'll sleep in the guest room tonight. I need to think." Jennifer, "No, Michael, I'm tired of fighting ghosts. Tired of watching you destroy yourself with guilt. Tired of pretending everything's fine when it clearly isn't." She went upstairs, leaving Michael alone with his demons. He grabbed the wine bottle and went to his study. He opened the secret drawer where he kept the only remaining photos of Thomas, a smiling 7-year-old boy with the same dark eyes as Tommy, the same scar on his chin from when he fell off his bike. His phone rang. It was Garcia. "Sorry to call so late, Mr. Anderson, but I thought you'd want to know right away. What did you find?" "I located Ms. Rose's bar. It's on Hudson Street near Skid Row, a dangerous area." "And? The boy Tommy really does go there. But there's something odd. No one knows where he came from. He showed up about 2 years ago, already with the dog. Doesn't talk about his past." "Is that all?" For now. But there's one more thing. Ms. Rose mentioned the boy has nightmares. He calls out for someone in his sleep. A name. Michael held his breath. What name? Mike. He calls out for someone named Mike. The phone slipped from Michael's hand. Mike. That's what Thomas called him when he was little. He couldn't pronounce Michael, so it became Mike. Sir, are you there? Michael picked up the phone with trembling hands. Keep digging, I want to know everything about this boy. Yes, sir. Oh, and Mr. Anderson, be careful. That area is dangerous, especially for someone like you. Michael hung up and poured himself more wine. It could be a coincidence. Tommy could be calling out for any Mike. But what if he wasn't? What if, after all these years, fate was finally giving him a chance at redemption? He spent the night awake, torn between hope and fear. By sunrise, he was dressed and ready. Jennifer and Emily were still asleep. He left a note saying he had an important meeting. He arrived at the office before everyone else. Margaret showed up at 8 sharp, as always. Good morning, sir. You look terrible. I didn't sleep. Margaret, I need you to cancel all my appointments today. Again? Sir, the Japanese are already upset about yesterday's cancellation. Let them be upset. I have more important things to deal with. Margaret sighed but didn't argue. I had known Michael long enough to recognize when arguing was pointless. At 9:30, the intercom buzzed. It was the front desk. Mr. Anderson, there's a boy here saying you're expecting him, a Tommy. Michael nearly ran to the elevator. Tommy stood in the lobby, wearing new sneakers and clean, though simple, clothes. Rusty waited outside, tied to a lamppost. You came, Michael said, trying to hold back his emotion. I said I would, Tommy replied, lifting his chin proudly. The man's got to keep his word. The phrase sounded so mature coming from a child that Michael smiled. You're right, shall we go up? In the elevator, Tommy stared wide-eyed at everything. He'd never been inside such a luxurious building. Oh, you really are rich, huh? He asked with the blunt honesty of children. I have money, yes. Then why do you need someone like me to take care of your dogs? You can afford better, Michael thought quickly. Because I saw how you care for Rusty. Money can't buy love and dedication. Tommy seemed satisfied with the answer. When they reached the office, Margaret was waiting with juice and cookies. This is Tommy, Michael introduced. Tommy, this is Margaret, my secretary. Nice to meet you, Tommy, Margaret said with a motherly smile. What a handsome boy. Tommy blushed, unused to compliments. And Rusty? Margaret asked. He's downstairs. I didn't think I could bring a dog in here. Of course you can. I'll ask security to get him. While Margaret handled that, Michael led Tommy to his office. The boy was awed by the view. You can see the whole city from here. It is a beautiful view. Tommy, I need to ask you a few questions. The boy tensed immediately. What kind of questions? About you. Where you're from, where your family is. I don't have family, came the too quick reply. Just Rusty. Everyone has family, Tommy, even if they don't live with them. The boy visibly shut down, crossing his arms. You said you wanted someone to take care of dogs, not answer questions. You're right, I'm sorry, Michael backtracked. He couldn't push and risk the boy running off. Let's talk about the job then. But before he could continue, a door opened and Rusty bounded in, heading straight for Tommy. Behind him came Emily. Daddy! Betty said you were here with a boy and a dog. Michael froze. He hadn't expected his daughter to show up. Emily, what are you doing here? You should be at school. It's Saturday, Daddy. She rolled her eyes. You forgot again. Saturday. Michael had completely lost track of the days. Who's he? Emily pointed at Tommy. He's a friend. Tommy, this is my daughter, Emily. The two children sized each other up with the curiosity of youth. What a beautiful dog. Emily crouched to pet Rusty. Can I pet him? Sure, Tommy said proudly. He's gentle. I've always wanted a dog, but Mommy won't let me, Emily pouted. Says it's too much work. It is work, Tommy agreed seriously. You got to feed them, give them water, bathe them, take them for walks. But it's worth it. Where do you live? Emily asked with a child's lack of filter. Tommy hesitated. Around. Around where? Emily, don't be nosy, Michael scolded. I'm not being nosy. I just want to know if he lives close so we can play." Michael noticed how flustered Tommy was by Emily's ease. He probably wasn't used to being treated as an equal by kids from his social class. "I live far," Tommy finally answered. "That's too bad," Emily said, genuinely disappointed. "I don't have many friends, just the boring girls at school." "Emily," Michael scolded again, "but it's true. They only talk about dolls and makeup. No one likes dogs or playing ball." "I like playing ball," Tommy said shyly. Emily's eyes lit up. "Really? Dad, can I play ball with him?" "Emily, Tommy came to work, not to play." "But Dad." "Let her, Dad." Jennifer's voice cut through the air. She was at the door watching the scene. "It's been a while since I've seen Emily so excited about anything." Michael stood up, surprised. "Jennifer, I didn't expect you here." "I came to pick up Emily. We have an appointment at the salon," she approached Tommy. "You must be the boy who kept my husband up last night." Tommy looked confused at Michael, who blushed. "Jennifer, this is Tommy. Tommy, my wife Jennifer." "Nice to meet you, ma'am," Tommy said politely. Jennifer studied him carefully, and Michael knew she was looking for the similarities with Thomas. "The pleasure is mine, Tommy. Is this your dog?" "Yes, his name is Rusty." "Mum, can I play with Tommy before we go to the salon?" Emily pleaded. "Please." Jennifer looked at Michael, then at Tommy, who seemed uncomfortable being the center of attention. "What do you think, Tommy? Would you like to play a little with Emily?" The boy glanced at Michael, silently asking for permission. "It's fine with me," said Michael, "but just for a little while." The kids ran off with Rusty behind them, leaving the adults alone. "He really looks like Thomas," Jennifer whispered. "I know." "Michael, you need to be careful. You can't get your hopes up." Garcia found out he shouts the name Mike during his nightmares. Jennifer's eyes widened. "Oh my God, do you think—" "I don't know what to think, but I need to find out the truth." They stood in silence, watching through the window as the kids played on the building's terrace. Emily laughed as Rusty chased the ball, and Tommy seemed more like a child than at any moment since Michael had met him. "Does he live on the streets?" Jennifer asked. "Yes, near Skid Row." "Michael, we can't leave a child in that situation." "What are you suggesting?" "I don't know, but look at them," she pointed to the kids. "Emily never had a brother, and this boy clearly needs help." "Jennifer, I can't just bring him home." "Why not? You've done more impulsive things before." Before Michael could answer, Margaret walked in. "Mr. Anderson, Garcia is on the phone. He says it's urgent." Michael answered on speaker. "Garcia, go ahead." "Sir, I found something important." The boy Tommy was first seen 2 years ago at a public hospital. He was unconscious with signs of trauma. He remembered nothing, not even his own name. Michael felt Jennifer squeeze his hand. "Go on." Tommy was the name the nurses gave him. When he woke up, the only thing he said was that he needed to find Mike. Where was he before that? "That's the problem, sir. There are no records. It's like he appeared out of nowhere. But there's one more thing." "What?" "I got a copy of his medical file. His blood type is O negative, the same as your brother's." Michael had to sit down. The evidence was piling up. "I need a DNA test." "I figured. I know a discreet lab, but you'll need a sample from the boy." "Leave it to me." When he hung up, Jennifer hugged him. "What if it's him, Michael? What if it's really Thomas?" "I don't know, 25 years, Jennifer. How did he survive? Where has he been? Why doesn't he remember anything?" "Maybe the trauma—" Garcia said he showed signs of having suffered something. Michael didn't want to think about what Thomas might have gone through all these years. The guilt, already heavy, became almost unbearable. "I need to know the truth," he said finally. "Yes, you do." "We do," Jennifer corrected him. "But Michael, promise me one thing." "What?" "If it's not him, we'll still help this boy. He needs help, whether he's Thomas or not." Michael agreed. Jennifer was right. Regardless of the outcome, Tommy needed help. The kids came back sweaty and happy. Rusty drank water from a bowl someone had set out. Mom, Tommy plays so well. Emily was excited. He taught me some cool tricks. That's great, honey, but now we need to go. Oh, already? Tommy needs to go too, said Michael. But he'll come back another day. Promise? Emily asked Tommy. The boy looked uncertainly at Michael. If your dad says yes, he replied diplomatically. Of course I will, Michael said. Actually, Tommy, how about having lunch with us tomorrow? The invitation took everyone by surprise, including Jennifer. Lunch? At your house? Tommy seemed startled. Yes, it's Sunday. We're having a barbecue. You can bring... Rusty, I don't know. Please, Emily begged. It'll be fun. Tommy looked at the hopeful faces around him. He wasn't used to so much positive attention. Okay, he finally agreed. Yay, Emily jumped. I'll show you my room and my games. They settled on the time, and Michael called his driver to take Tommy back. He didn't want the boy walking alone with $50 in his pocket. Can I bring Rusty in the car? Tommy asked worriedly. Of course you can. While waiting for the car, Michael discreetly collected a few strands of Tommy's hair left on the seat. It would be enough for the DNA test. When Tommy left, Jennifer turned to her husband. Do you know what you're doing? No, Michael admitted. But for the first time in a long while, I feel like I'm on the right path. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us as we're just starting out. Now continuing. On Sunday, Michael woke up early, anxious. Jennifer was getting the house ready for lunch, while Emily kept asking when Tommy would arrive. Relax, sweetheart, he said noon, but it's already 11:30. Michael smiled at his daughter's impatience. He was anxious too, though for different reasons. Garcia had confirmed the sample was sent to the lab. They'd have results in a few days. Right at noon, the intercom rang. Tommy was at the gate with Rusty on a leash. Michael went to greet him personally. The boy was wearing the same clothes as the day before, but clean. He'd showered and combed his hair. The effort to look presentable was touching. Your house is really big, Tommy remarked as they walked through the garden. Too big, Michael agreed. Sometimes I feel lost in it. Tommy looked at him surprised. But you're rich, you can have any house you want. Money doesn't buy the most important things, Tommy. The boy seemed to think about that. Miss Rose says the same thing. But when you're hungry, you don't think like that. The raw wisdom of the comment struck Michael. Tommy was right. It was easy to philosophize about money's limits when your stomach was full. Emily waited by the door, practically bouncing with excitement. Tommy, you came. Hi, Rusty. The dog wagged its tail, recognizing his new friend. Come on, I'll show you the house. Emily took Tommy's hand, and he blushed at the contact. Emily, let Tommy catch his breath, Jennifer said, with a smile. Welcome, Tommy. You can let Rusty off the leash. We have a big fenced yard. Lunch was surprisingly pleasant. Tommy, shy at first, gradually relaxed. Emily monopolized his attention, showing off toys and asking a million questions. Do you go to school? She asked as they ate. Tommy looked down. No, I stopped a while ago. Why? Emily, Jennifer tried to intervene. It's okay, Tommy said. I stopped because I had to work and also because I don't remember things from before. From before when? Emily pressed. From before I woke up in the hospital. Michael and Jennifer exchanged glances. It was the first time Tommy had mentioned his memory loss. You don't remember anything? Michael asked gently. Tommy played with his fork. Sometimes I have dreams, but they're confusing. There's an older boy who plays with me and a house with a garden, but I don't know if it's real or just in my head. And your parents, Jennifer ventured. I don't remember. The people at the hospital tried to find my family, but no one came looking for me. So I guess I must really be an orphan. The resigned sadness in the boy's voice broke everyone's heart. You're not alone now, Emily declared. We're your friends. Tommy smiled, a genuine smile that lit up his face. Thank you. After lunch, the children went to play in the garden. Michael and Jennifer watched them from the porch. More and more, I believe it's him, Jennifer said. The dreams he described. We had a garden in our old house, and I used to play with Thomas every afternoon. Michael, what if the test comes back positive? What do we do? We bring him home, of course. It won't be that simple. Legally, we'll need proof. And psychologically, The trauma he's been through. One step at a time, Michael hugged her. First the test, then we'll figure out the rest. The afternoon flew by. Tommy and Emily formed an instant connection, playing as if they'd known each other for years. Rusty ran happily through the garden, barking at the birds. At 5 o'clock, Tommy said he had to go. "So soon?" Emily pouted. "Stay a little longer." "I can't. I promised Ms. Rose I'd help her today." "Who's this Ms. Rose?" Jennifer asked. "She owns the bar near where I stay. She gives me food sometimes and I help clean up." "We can drive you," Michael offered. Tommy hesitated. It's not a very nice place for people like you." "That's okay, my driver knows the whole city." In the car, Tommy stayed quiet, petting Rusty. Emily had insisted on coming along, and Jennifer decided to join them. "It's over there," Tommy pointed to a rundown corner bar. Michael looked around. The area's decay was obvious. Groups of drug users wandered the sidewalks. The smell of urine and garbage was strong. "You sleep around here?" Jennifer asked, horrified. "Under the overpass back there when it doesn't rain." "And when it rains?" "Ms. Rose lets us sleep in the bar's storage room." Emily held Tommy's hand. "That must be scary." "You get used to it," he shrugged. "And I have Rusty to protect me." A heavy-set woman in her 60s appeared at the bar's door. "Tommy? Where have you been, boy?" She froze when she saw the luxury car. "What's this?" Tommy got out. "Hi. Ms. Rose, these are my friends, Michael, Jennifer, and Emily." Ms. Rose eyed them suspiciously. "Friends? Tommy, what trouble have you gotten into?" "None. Michael gave me a job, taking care of his dogs." Michael stepped out of the car and approached. "Nice to meet you, Ms. Rose. Tommy's told us a lot about you." The woman looked him up and down. "I see. And what does a rich man want with a street kid?" The distrust was clear and understandable. "I want to help him," Michael replied simply. "Everyone wants to help. Until they get what they want." Ms. Rose pulled Tommy closer, protective. "I've seen plenty of rich folks take advantage of poor kids." "It's not like that," Tommy protested. "They're really nice to me." "I understand your concern," Jennifer also stepped out of the car. "But our intentions are good. Tommy might need us, but we need him too." Ms. Rose studied Jennifer for a long moment. "You seem sincere, but still, Tommy's a good boy. I don't want to see him hurt." "Neither do we," Michael assured her. "Actually, we'd like to talk to you, in private." Ms. Rose looked at Tommy. "Go inside and start wiping the tables, grown-up talk." Tommy obeyed, taking Rusty with him. Emily tried to follow, but Jennifer held her back. "What do you want to know?" Ms. Rose crossed her arms. "Everything about Tommy. When he showed up how he was, what he talked about. Why? What is he to you?" Michael hesitated, then decided to be partly honest. "We think he might be related to someone we know, someone who disappeared a long time ago." Ms. Rose relaxed a little. "Tommy showed up 2 years ago. Winter. It was raining hard, and he was under the overpass, shivering from the cold. Just a torn t-shirt and the dog." "Did he say anything?" "Not at first. He went days without speaking, just cried and called out for someone. Mike, I think." Michael felt Jennifer squeeze his arm. "When he started talking, he didn't remember anything, not even his name. I was the one who called him Tommy after St. Peter. Thought he needed divine protection, and he never remembered anything. Sometimes he wakes up screaming, nightmares, says disjointed things. Once he talked about a pool, another time about trading cards, but nothing that makes sense." "A pool?" "They had a pool in the old house, and Thomas collected trading cards." "Ms. Rose," Jennifer stepped closer, "you've been so kind to Tommy, we can see that, but he needs more than you can give." "I know," the woman sighed, "but what can I do? I can barely keep the bar running, and there are other kids too." "How many?" "About 5 or 6, it changes. Some disappear, others show up." Michael had an idea. "What if you had help? Resources to take better care of those kids?" "How so?" "My company has social projects. We could include your bar, create a proper space for the children." Ms. Rose eyed him suspiciously again. "And in return?" "In return, you help us with Tommy. Tell us everything you know. Let us know if you remember anything." And if he really is this relative you're looking for, then we'll take care of him. But we won't abandon the other children. Ms. Rose seemed to consider it. I'll think about it, but one thing I'll say, Tommy is special. Different from the others. He's got manners, you know. Speaks properly, knows how to act, not your usual street kid. More evidence. Thomas had a privileged upbringing until he was 7. Thank you for looking after him, Jennifer said, emotional. Someone had to. God puts people in our path for a reason. They said goodbye with a promise to return. In the car, Emily was full of questions. Why does Tommy live on the street? Why doesn't he live in a normal house? It's complicated. Sweetheart, Jennifer tried to explain. Some kids don't have families. But he could live with us. We have extra rooms. Michael and Jennifer exchanged glances. Sometimes children saw simple solutions where adults overcomplicated things. It's not that simple, Emily. Why not? He's nice and Rusty too, and he'd be like a brother to me. The word brother made Michael choke up. Jennifer held his hand. That night after Emily fell asleep, the couple talked late. She's right, you know, Jennifer said. We could bring Tommy home to live with us, temporarily, until we sort things out. What if the test is negative? He still needs a home, and Emily needs a brother. Jennifer, are you suggesting we adopt Tommy even if he's not Thomas? She looked at him seriously. Why not? Look how happy Emily was today. Look how much lighter you seemed. Tommy brought life back into this house. Michael thought about it. It was true. For the first time in years, the mansion didn't feel like a mausoleum of sad memories. Let's wait for the test results, he decided. Then we'll talk. But deep down, Michael knew Jennifer was right. Tommy had already found a place in their hearts, whether he was Thomas or not. On Monday, Michael could barely focus at work. He kept checking his phone, waiting for news from Garcia about the DNA test. Around noon, Margaret walked into his office. Sir, there's a young man saying it's urgent to speak with you. Says it's about Tommy. Michael nearly spilled his coffee. Send him in! But it wasn't Garcia. It was a young man in his 20s, thin and looking like he lived on the streets. Who are you? My name's Charlie. I look after Tommy sometimes down by the overpass. What happened? Is he okay? Yeah, but there are some guys looking for him. Michael felt his blood run cold. What guys? I don't know. They showed up last night asking about the boy with the scar on his chin, offered money for information. And did anyone talk? Not yet. But sir, on the street money talks. Sooner or later someone's going to give Tommy up. Why are you telling me this? Charlie scratched his head, embarrassed. Tommy's a good kid. Shares what he has, even when it's not much. And he said you've been helping him. Thought you should know. Michael took out his wallet and pulled out $100. Thanks for the heads up. Take this. I didn't come for money. I know, but take it anyway. And if you hear anything else, let me know. Charlie took the money and left. Michael immediately called Garcia. We need to find Tommy now and bring him somewhere safe. What's going on? People are looking for him. People who know about the scar. Understood. On my way. Michael called Jennifer next. We need to pick up Tommy now. What happened? I'll explain later. Can you get the guest room ready? Michael, you're scaring me. Just do what I'm asking. Please. An hour later, Garcia called. I found the kid. He was at his usual spot watching cars. Convinced him to come with me. Bring him straight to my house. Sir, he's resisting. Doesn't want to leave the dog behind. Bring the dog too. When Tommy arrived at the mansion, he was visibly shaken. What's going on? Why did you bring me here like this? Michael crouched to his level. Tommy, there are people looking for you, people who might want to hurt you. The boy paled. But I didn't do anything. I know, but I need you to trust me. You're safe here. What about Rusty? He stays. Too, both of you. Jennifer appeared with Emily. Tommy! The girl ran to hug him. You're going to live with us. Live here? Tommy looked confused between the adults. Temporarily, Jennifer clarified, until we sort this out. But what about Ms. Rose and the other kids? We'll take care of everyone, Michael assured. But right now, your safety comes first. Tommy seemed overwhelmed. Why are you doing this for me? Michael and Jennifer exchanged glances. It wasn't time to share their suspicions yet. Because it's the right thing to do, Jennifer said simply. Now come on, I'll show you your room. As Jennifer and Emily took Tommy to see the house, Michael spoke privately with Garcia. Any idea who's looking for him? Not yet, but from what Charlie described, it's two men. Well-dressed, doesn't seem like common criminals. Private investigators? Possibly. Could someone else be looking for your brother? Michael thought. After all these years, who would still be interested in Thomas? Keep digging and tighten security at the house. Yes, sir. Oh, and the lab called. The DNA results come in tomorrow. Tomorrow. In less than 24 hours, Michael would know the truth. That night, Tommy had dinner with the family for the second time, but now as a temporary resident, he was quieter than usual, processing everything. You okay? Emily asked, worried about her new friend. Yeah, just a lot's happening. I know it's hard, Jennifer said gently, but we want you to feel at home. It's just, I've never really had a home before. Not that I remember. Now you do, Emily declared, and I always wanted a brother. Tommy blushed at the statement. Michael watched with a heavy heart. What if the test was negative? How would they explain it to Emily? How would he handle another disappointment? After dinner, Michael went to Tommy's room to say goodnight. The boy was sitting on the bed, petting Rusty. This room's bigger than the shack we used to sleep in, he remarked. You'll get used to it. Mr. Michael, those men looking for me. Do you know who they are? Not yet, but I'll find out. Tommy bit his lip, a gesture Michael recognized. Thomas did the same when he was nervous. Sometimes I feel like I've lived in a house like this before, but it must be just my imagination. Maybe not, Michael said, carefully. Maybe it's a memory. Do you think I'll remember one day? I hope so, Tommy. I really hope so. When he left the room, he found Jennifer waiting in the hallway. How is he? Confused, scared, but adjusting. And you? Michael hugged her, anxious. What if it's him, Jennifer? How do we explain 25 years? With patience, with professional help, with a lot of love. And if it's not him? Then we'll have given a child the chance he deserves. Either way, we did the right thing. The next morning, Michael woke up to his phone ringing. It was Garcia. I have the results. Michael felt his heart race. And? I think we should talk in person. I can be there in 30 minutes. The next half hour was the longest of Michael's life. Jennifer stayed by his side, holding his hand. They had decided not to tell Tommy anything until they were sure. When Garcia arrived, his face was serious. Well? Michael couldn't wait any longer. Garcia handed him an envelope. The genetic match is 99.9%. Tommy is your brother, Mr. Anderson. He's Thomas. Michael's legs buckled. Jennifer steadied him, tears streaming down her face. You absolutely sure? She asked. Absolutely. I ran the test at 2 different labs to be certain. There's no doubt. Michael couldn't speak. 25 years of guilt, searching, hope. And now Thomas was here, in the next room, with no memory of who he was. What now? He finally managed to ask. Now we need to find out what happened to him all these years, and who those people looking for him are. Do you have any leads? Maybe. I dug through old records and found something interesting. Around the time he disappeared, there were rumors of an illegal adoption ring operating in New York City. Children went missing and were sold to wealthy families, usually overseas. Michael felt sick. You think Thomas? It's possible. It would explain why he only showed up now and why he lost his memory. Severe trauma can cause amnesia. Oh my God, Jennifer covered her mouth. What did they do to him? We need to be careful, Garcia warned. If this really was an illegal adoption, those involved won't want it coming to light. The men looking for him might be trying to erase evidence. Over my dead body, Michael said firmly. No one's taking my brother from me again. What do we tell him? Jennifer asked the crucial question. The truth, Michael decided. But, carefully, we'll need psychological help. I know an excellent psychologist who specializes in trauma and repressed memory, Garcia offered. Discreet and competent. Hire her, I want the best for Thomas. Tommy, Jennifer corrected softly. To him, he's still Tommy. Michael nodded. They had a long road ahead. Just then, Emily came running in. Dad! Mom! Tommy's sick! They rushed to the room. Tommy was curled up in bed, shaking, covered in cold sweat. Rusty barked anxiously. What happened? Jennifer knelt beside the bed. I had a bad dream, Tommy said between sobs. But it felt real. What kind of dream? Michael asked gently. There was a man. He held me tight. I called for Mike, but he didn't come. Michael and Jennifer exchanged glances. Anything else? A woman. She was crying and said it was for my own good, that I'd have a better life, but I didn't want to go. The puzzle pieces were falling into place. Someone had taken Thomas against his will, possibly sold him into an illegal adoption. It's okay now, Jennifer hugged the boy. It was just a nightmare. It felt so real, Tommy sobbed, like it had actually happened. Sometimes our dreams mix memories with imagination, Michael said carefully. But what matters is that you're safe now. Tommy gradually calmed down. Emily brought water and kept petting Rusty to distract him. Tommy, Michael said after a while, there's something important we need to talk about. What? Michael looked at Jennifer, who nodded encouragingly. We think we know who you are. Who you were before you lost your memory. Tommy's eyes widened. Really, who? My brother, Thomas. The silence that followed was heavy. Tommy looked from Michael to Jennifer, trying to process the information. Your brother? But how? Michael showed an old photo, Thomas at 7 years old, smiling by the pool. This is Thomas, my brother who disappeared 25 years ago. Look at the scar on his chin. Tommy took the photo with trembling hands. He studied every detail. He looks like me, he admitted, but I don't remember. We did a DNA test, Jennifer explained gently. It confirms you're Thomas. I'm Thomas? The name sounded strange on his lips. It doesn't feel right. I'm Tommy. You can still be Tommy, Michael assured him. The name doesn't matter. What matters is that you're my brother, and you're home. Does that mean you're my family? Tommy asked in a small voice. For real? For real, Jennifer confirmed. Michael is your brother, Emily is your niece, and I'm your sister-in-law. I have a family, Tommy repeated, as if testing the words. A real family. Yes, Emily jumped on the bed. I told you you'd be my brother. Well, uncle, but you can be both. The childish mix-up broke the tension, making everyone laugh. It's a lot to take in, said Tommy Thomas. I don't know what to think. You don't have to process it all now, Michael reassured him. We have time, we'll take it slow. But those men looking for me? We'll find out who they are and what they want. You're safe here. Tommy nodded, still processing. Then something seemed to occur to him. If I'm your brother, why did you abandon me? The painful question hit Michael like a punch. We never abandoned you. You disappeared. We searched for years, decades. We never gave up. Then what happened to me? We don't know yet, but we'll find out, I promise. Thomas fell silent, stroking Rusty. Can I still call you Mike? In my dream, I called someone Mike. Of course you can, Michael said, emotional. That's what you called me when you were little. A flash of recognition passed through the boy's eyes but vanished quickly. I need time, he said finally, to understand all this. Take all the time you need, Jennifer assured him. We're not going anywhere. After Tommy Thomas went back to sleep, the couple spoke with Garcia in the living room. We need 24-hour protection, Michael said, and I want you to find out everything about his disappearance, every detail. I'm already working on it, but sir, you need to be prepared. If this was really child trafficking, those responsible could be in positions of power now. I don't care who they are, I want justice. Michael, Jennifer touched his arm. What matters now is Thomas. Revenge can wait. She was right, as always. The focus should be helping Thomas recover, not hunting down the guilty. Fine, but I want everyone involved identified to make sure they're not a threat. Understood, Garcia stood. I'll intensify the investigation, and Dr. Catherine, the psychologist, can come tomorrow. After Garcia left, Michael and Jennifer held each other on the couch. "We did it," she whispered. "After all these years, he's home." "But at what cost? What did they do to him, Jennifer? Where has he been all this time?" "We'll find out. And we'll help him through it, whatever it is. Promise me I won't lose him again?" "I promise. We're not going to lose him." In the bedroom, Tommy pretended to sleep, but his mind was racing. Fragments of memories surfaced and vanished. A smiling face he now knew was a young Michael. A house with a pool. The smell of chocolate cake. A woman screaming his name as he was taken away. Silent tears streamed down his face. For the first time in 2 years, he didn't feel lost. He was confused, scared, but not lost. He had a family. A brother who had searched for him for decades. A real home. He hugged Rusty tighter. The dog, sensing his distress, licked his tears. "We made it, buddy," he whispered. "We found our home." The next day, the psychologist came to evaluate Thomas. Dr. Catherine was a middle-aged woman with a calm and welcoming demeanor. She spoke first with everyone together, then alone with Thomas. After 2 hours, she spoke privately with Michael and Jennifer. "It's a complex case," she explained. "Thomas clearly suffered severe trauma that caused dissociative amnesia. The memories are there, but blocked as a defense mechanism. Can he recover them? It's possible, but it must be a gradual process. Forcing it could cause more harm. The nightmares are actually a good sign. His subconscious is processing. What can we do? Provide a safe and stable environment, regular therapy and patience, a lot of patience. What about him being Thomas versus Tommy? Let him decide. Forcing an identity he doesn't recognize could backfire. Over time, the identities may integrate naturally. It would be a long process, but at least they had a path forward. Meanwhile, Garcia was making progress in the investigation. He discovered that around the time of Thomas's disappearance, a high-end fertility clinic had been suspected of facilitating illegal adoptions. The clinic had abruptly closed and its owners vanished. "I got the name of a nurse who worked there," Garcia informed them. "Retired, lives out in the country. She might know something." "Let's go see her," Michael decided. "Sir, it could be dangerous. If those responsible find out, they already know. That's why they're looking for Thomas. We have nothing to lose." Jennifer insisted on coming along. They left Thomas with Emily and a security team and headed to the countryside. The nurse, Mrs. Barbara, lived in a modest house in Westchester. She greeted them with initial suspicion. "I don't talk about that time," she said as soon as she learned the reason for their visit. "Please," Jennifer begged. "We found my brother-in-law after 25 years. We need to know what happened." Something in Jennifer's sincerity moved the elderly woman. "Come in, but promise me discretion. I'm still afraid, even after all these years." In the simple living room, Mrs. Barbara served coffee and began to talk. The clinic was a front. Dr. Melissa and Dr. Charles ran everything. They took children, sometimes bought from poor families, sometimes stolen. Michael clenched his fists. Stolen how? They watched children in parks, schools, picked the healthiest, most beautiful ones. Kids wealthy families overseas would pay fortunes to adopt. "And Thomas?" Mrs. Barbara sighed. "I remember him. A beautiful, well-mannered boy. Cried a lot, called for his brother, Mike, he'd say." Jennifer held Michael's hand. "What did they do to him?" "They tried to erase his memories. Drugs, mild shock therapy. Wanted him to forget his real family." Michael felt sick. "Where did they take him?" "I'm not sure, but I heard a very wealthy American family wanted him. Paid a fortune." "Names. I need names." "I don't know the family's name. But Dr. Melissa Smith and Dr. Charles Newman, they coordinated everything." "Where are they now?" "Dr. Melissa passed 10 years ago. Cancer. Dr. Charles, I don't know. Disappeared when things got hot." "Anyone else involved?" Mrs. Barbara hesitated. "There was a lawyer, Dr. Foster. Falsified documents. He might still be alive." Michael wrote everything down. "Why didn't you report it?" "I tried. But they had powerful connections. They threatened me, said they'd kill my family. I fled here and never spoke of it again. But now you're talking. Because I'm old and tired of carrying this guilt, and because you deserve to know the truth." They thanked her and prepared to leave. "Wait." Mrs. Barbara went to a cabinet and returned with a box. "I kept this, I don't know why." Inside were photos and documents, among them a picture of Thomas at the clinic, visibly sedated. "That's him," Jennifer confirmed, tears in her eyes. "Take it. It's proof he was there." In the car on the way back, the silence was heavy. "What are we going to tell him?" Jennifer asked. "I don't know. How do you explain being sold like merchandise? And how did he escape? If he went to the USA, how did he come back? Maybe his memory holds the answers when he's ready." Michael's phone rang. It was the head of security. "Sir, we have a problem. 2 men tried to approach the house. When confronted, they ran. Is Thomas okay?" "Yes, sir, but we found this at the gate." When they got home, the security guard showed them an envelope. Inside, a single sentence: "Return what isn't yours." "What does this mean?" Jennifer asked, alarmed. Michael crumpled the paper. "It means someone still thinks Thomas belongs to them. But they're very mistaken." In the following days, security was tripled. Thomas noticed the extra movement but was spared the details. He continued his sessions with Dr. Catherine, making slow but steady progress. In one session, he had a breakthrough. "I remembered something," he said excitedly when he returned. "A song. The woman who took me used to sing it to calm me down." "What song?" Thomas hummed a few notes. Jennifer recognized it. "It's an American lullaby, another piece of the puzzle." Thomas must have really been in the USA. Garcia managed to track down Dr. Foster, the lawyer. He was living in Long Beach under a fake name. When confronted, he initially denied everything, but the photo of Thomas at the clinic broke him. All right, he confessed. "I handled the paperwork. But that's all." "Names," Michael demanded. "Who took my brother?" "The Harrison family from Boston. Pharmaceutical millionaires. They couldn't have children." "How did Thomas get back to the United States?" "I don't know, I swear. I lost contact with everyone after everything blew up." Michael wanted more answers, but the lawyer seemed genuinely clueless. The investigation now had a new lead: the Harrison family. Garcia started digging, and what he found was disturbing. The Harrisons died 5 years ago. Private plane crash, no survivors. And Thomas? He wasn't on the plane. Records show Thomas Harrison, the name they gave him, ran away at 17. He was never found. The pieces fit. Thomas escaped. His illegal adoptive parents died. And he somehow made it back to the United States, where he suffered the trauma that erased his memories. "But who are the men looking for him now?" Jennifer asked. "I found that too," Garcia said grimly. The Harrisons had a partner, Robert Mitchell. He inherited part of the fortune on the condition he find Thomas and bring him back. Why? Thomas was the only heir. Without him, Mitchell loses access to billions. Now it made sense. Mitchell wanted Thomas back, not out of affection, but for money. "He won't succeed," Michael declared. "Thomas stays with us." "Legally, it's complicated, sir. In the USA, Thomas Harrison exists. He has documents. Forged documents based on a crime. I know, but proving it." A complex legal battle lay ahead, but Michael was determined. At home, they found Thomas and Emily in the garden, playing with Rusty. The domestic scene was so normal, so peaceful, it was hard to believe the storm brewing. "We need to tell him," Jennifer said. "Not yet. Let him have a few more days of peace." But the peace didn't last long. The next day, an American lawyer showed up at Michael's company. "Mr. Anderson, I represent Robert Mitchell. We've come for Thomas Harrison." "I don't know any Thomas Harrison." "I believe you know him." "As Tommy or Thomas. We have proof that he is legally Thomas Harrison, heir to the Harrison fortune, based on criminal documents." The lawyer smiled coldly. "Prove it." It was the beginning of a battle Michael knew would be tough, but looking at the brother he had searched for over 25 years, he knew he would fight to the end. That night he had a difficult conversation with Thomas. He told him about the Harrisons, the inheritance, about Mitchell. Thomas listened silently, processing it all. "So they want to take me because of money?" "Yes, but we won't let them." "What if I don't want to go?" "Then we'll fight to keep you here." Thomas hugged Rusty, lost in thought. "You know, I had another dream. I think I remembered something. What? The Harrisons' house. It was big, cold. They weren't cruel, but they weren't you. They weren't my real family. You remember them? Bits and pieces. The woman cried a lot. She said she loved me, but I felt she loved the idea of having a son, not me. Michael pitied the Harrisons despite everything. Desperation for a child had driven them to crime, and in the end, they lost it all. Do you remember why you ran away? Not clearly yet, but I know I needed to come back. Something pulled me to the United States. To you, I think. The brothers embraced, overcome with emotion. We'll get through this together, Michael promised. I know, Thomas smiled. After all, we're family. In the days that followed, the legal battle began. Mitchell hired the best lawyers, threatening to take the case to international courts. Michael assembled an equally powerful team, determined to prove the truth. Evidence was gathered: Ms. Barbara's testimony, Dr. Foster's confession, records from the illegal clinic. But Mitchell had seemingly legitimate American documents and endless money to spend. The tension affected everyone. Thomas had frequent nightmares. Emily grew anxious, afraid of losing her newly discovered uncle. Jennifer tried to keep things normal, but the stress was visible. One particularly difficult afternoon, after an unfavorable preliminary hearing, Michael found Thomas in the garden. Maybe it's better if I go, the young man said, looking far older than his apparent 32 years. Don't even think about it. But I'm causing so much trouble. Emily's sad, Jennifer's worried. You're not sleeping. Thomas, look at me. Michael held his shoulders. I searched for you for 25 years. I'm not giving up now. What if we lose? We won't lose. Because the truth is on our side. The truth doesn't always win, Thomas said with sad wisdom. This time it will, I promise. But promises were hard to keep when the system seemed to favor Mitchell. The man had influence, connections, unlimited money. It was Garcia who brought the breakthrough they needed. Investigating Mitchell's past, he uncovered something crucial. Mitchell was involved with the illegal clinic, he revealed. He was the one referring wealthy American families. He took a commission. Proof? I found bank records, payments from the clinic to his shell companies. It was the ammunition they needed. Mitchell wasn't an innocent victim. He was an accomplice to the crime. With this evidence, the case turned. The American justice system launched an investigation. Cornered, Mitchell tried to negotiate, but Michael wasn't interested in deals. I want full justice, and for Thomas to be recognized for who he truly is. The battle dragged on for months. Hearings, testimonies, evidence presented. Thomas had to testify, painful but necessary. Slowly, more memories returned. He remembered the day of the kidnapping, men grabbing him on the street, a van, the terror. He remembered his years with the Harrisons. They weren't cruel, but he always knew he didn't belong there. He remembered running away at 17. He had discovered the truth about his adoption. In hidden documents, he fled, determined to find his real family. But something happened when I arrived in the United States, he told Dr. Catherine. I was robbed, assaulted. I woke up in the hospital without clear memories. The trauma reactivated your memory block, the psychologist explained. Your brain, already fragile from childhood trauma, protected itself by erasing everything. It was an explanation that made sense. Thomas had fought to return home, but fate played another cruel trick. But I made it, he said with a smile. Even without remembering, something guided me to Michael. Love, Dr. Catherine said simply. Love always finds a way. Finally, after 8 months of legal battle, the decision came. The judge recognized the kidnapping, annulled the illegal adoption, and confirmed Thomas's true identity. Mitchell was arrested for complicity in human trafficking. The Harrison fortune, ironically, was directed to a fund supporting victims of illegal adoption. On the night of their victory, the Anderson family celebrated quietly at home. It wasn't a time for big parties. It was a time for gratitude and reflection. It's over, said Jennifer, toasting with orange juice. No, Michael corrected. Now it begins. Now we can be a real family, without shadows from the past. Thomas, who had decided to keep the name Tommy officially, with Thomas as his middle name, smiled. You know, it's strange. I spent years without memories, without an identity. Now I have too many, Tommy, Thomas, Thomas. But the name isn't what matters. What does? Asked Emily. You, my family, my real family. Rusty barked as if in agreement. Rusty is family too, Emily laughed. Of course he is, agreed Tommy Thomas. After all, he's the one who kept me sane all these years. It was true. The stray dog had been his anchor, his companion, his family when he had no one else. We need to do something for Ms. Rose and the other kids, Tommy Thomas reminded them. We already are, Michael revealed. We turned her bar into a support center. The kids have a place to sleep, eat, and study. Really? You inspired that. Brother, you showed how small acts of kindness can change lives. Tommy Thomas was moved. I want to help. I can teach the kids like Ms. Rose did for me. Of course you can. And can we adopt some, Emily asked hopefully, so they can have a family too? The adults laughed. One step at a time, Princess, said Jennifer. For now, let's help them where they are. But Emily's idea planted a seed. In the following months, as they got to know the children at the center better, bonds formed. Charlie, the young man who had warned Michael about the men looking for Tommy, became a regular at the house. Soon he was working at Michael's company, studying at night. Two little girls, abandoned sisters, were legally adopted by Jennifer and Michael, fulfilling Emily's dream of having more siblings. The support center grew, helping dozens of children. Tommy Thomas coordinated the educational programs, using his unique experience to connect with the youth. You found your purpose, Dr. Catherine observed during one of their now monthly sessions. Maybe everything happened for a reason, he reflected. If I hadn't gone through what I did, I couldn't help these kids now. Reframing the chi, trauma, that's a sign of deep healing. Tommy Thomas was truly healing. The memories, though painful, no longer defined him. What defined him was the present, meaningful work, a loving family, a future full of purpose. Michael had changed, too. The guilt he'd carried for decades turned into a determination to protect not just Thomas, but all vulnerable children. You know, he said to Jennifer one night, watching their home full of life and laughter. For years, this mansion was a mausoleum. Now it's a home. With a tendency toward becoming an orphanage, she joked, watching the 5 children running around the garden. I don't regret a thing. Neither do I. You brought Thomas back, but he brought so much more to us. It was true. The search for a lost brother had turned into something bigger, a mission to transform lives, to create family where there was none, to spread the kind of kindness Tommy had shown that day, sharing his only meal with an abandoned dog. On the 1-year anniversary of their reunion, they threw a party at the support center. Dozens of children celebrated not just the date, but their new chance at life. Tommy Thomas gave an emotional speech. A year ago, I was a lost boy sharing food with my dog. I had no memory, no identity, no family. Today I have all that and more. But the most important thing I've learned is that family isn't just blood. It's love, care, the daily choice to be present. He looked at every beloved face, Michael, Jennifer, Emily, the adopted sisters, Charlie, Ms. Rose, the dozens of children who now had hope. All of you are my family, and I promise no child who comes here will ever feel as alone as I once did. The applause was deafening. Michael discreetly wiped away tears. He had searched for Thomas for 25 years, but what he found was so much more than a brother. He found a purpose, a mission, an expanded family. Jennifer hugged her husband. Every moment of pain was worth it, wasn't it? It was. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of despair. It brought us here. Emily tugged at her mother's dress. Mom, can I say something? Of course, sweetheart. I always knew Uncle Tommy was special, from the very first day. The heart just knows these things. The wisdom of a child, as always, summed it up perfectly. The heart knows. Despite time, distance, or trauma, the heart always finds its way home. Rusty, now old but still loyal, barked in agreement. He had been Tommy Thomas's guardian when no one else was there. He deserved every gourmet treat he now received daily. The story could end here with a guaranteed happy ending. But life went on, with new challenges and joys. Tommy Thomas started dating Amy, a psychologist he met at the center. Michael and Jennifer renewed their vows on their 20th anniversary with their vastly expanded family present. The adopted girls, Lily and Lucy, blossomed in the loving environment. Charlie graduated with a business degree and became Michael's right-hand man at the company. The support center became a national model, replicated in other cities. Tommy Thomas's story inspired changes in adoption and child protection laws. But the most important moments happened in the small things. Family dinners, afternoons in the garden, Rusty napping in the sun, children laughing, healing hugs. On one of those quiet afternoons, Tommy Thomas reflected, "You know, Mike, sometimes I think about what might have been if none of this had happened, if I hadn't disappeared." "I think about that too," Michael admitted, "and I've come to one conclusion: I wouldn't change a thing." The pain was awful, the separation devastating. But look at what we built from the broken pieces. Michael looked around, the house full of life, love overflowing, purpose in every action. "You're right. We turned tragedy into purpose. You searched for me for 25 years. You never gave up. That's love, Mike, the kind that moves mountains. You didn't give up either. Even without your memory, you found your way home. Maybe because home isn't a place. It's where the people we love are. They embraced, brothers reunited, family rebuilt, purpose found. From trauma came healing. From loss, multiplied gain. From the boy sharing food with a dog to the man, transforming lives. The journey had been long, painful, full of twists and turns. But every step led to this moment: family, love, purpose, healing. Michael would never forget that day when he stopped his car upon seeing Tommy sharing his lunch with Rusty. A simple act of kindness that changed not just 2 lives, but dozens of them. The millionaire who had everything discovered what truly mattered through a boy who had nothing but a generous heart. And Tommy Thomas? He realized that even when lost, he had always been on his way home. Because love, as Dr. Catherine said, always finds a way. As the sun set over New York City, lighting up the house filled with laughter and love, one certainty lingered over everyone. They were exactly where they were meant to be, together, as a family, at home. Because in the end, it wasn't DNA that brought them together. It was something stronger, the unbreakable bond between brothers, the kind of love that survives decades, trauma, and lost memories, the kind of love that drives a man to search for 25 years, the kind of love that guides a lost boy back home, the kind of love that transforms lives, the kind of love that is, always was, and always will be. Family. The end. If this story touched your heart, share in the comments where you're watching from. Do you also believe love always finds its way back home? Leave your like and subscribe for more heartwarming stories.